here at Suspiria Works Cinema, where we watch all the movies. I'm JJ, and I'll be your host. Our first this week is the first installment of our Director Series. The first in this series will be Bruno Mattei, very famous for his long lineage of exploitation films. Now, I'm only reviewing titles that I've actually managed to get a hold of, so they will be in as close to chronological order as I could figure out using IMDb and other resources. And today, our first movie will be SS Girls. Now, IMDb says this is his third movie. IMDb lists a first movie as an Armada, which I've never seen anything of. Wasn't able to get any kind of source of it. And there's another movie from 1976, which is Cuginetto, I believe. It's a Italian sex comedy. I've only seen clips of it, so I don't have a way to review the whole movie. And I couldn't find any source. So if anyone has any sources of this, feel free to comment and let me know where to get one. I'd like to check it out. So we're going to start with the 1977 movie SS Girls, also called Private House of the SS. And these came along after Tino Brass's Sail on Kitty. So you've got a whole chain of the Italian rip-off experts making these Nazi exploitation films. And Bruno, in an interesting course, he gives himself credit for writing the movie, but uses a pseudonym for directing it. So I'm not quite sure what the logic was there. He's always been an interesting character. Having said in interviews, he can't honestly say he's proud of any movie he's ever directed, nor could he name the best movie he's ever directed. I enjoy his candid demeanor in interviews. He doesn't really care. He likes to make trash, and he's not ashamed of it. And this is definitely trash. The movie starts out with the character of Hans Schellenberg, played by Gabriele Carrara. Now, he is in another Bruno Mattei movie, which we'll be seeing next, and IMDb lists one more credit for him in 1986 in some movie I've never even heard of, and I couldn't find anything else out about it. But this actor, I'm not sure if he predates the Nick Cage school of overacting, or if he was just really high doing all the scenes. His eyes are always just crazy, and he's dripping sweat in every scene, but nobody else is. So it's obviously not hot. The guy's just out of his mind, and the movie's highly entertaining just for his wild eyes and over-exaggerated movements and just insane bantering. So the Fuhrer has tasked Hans Schellenberg to root out deceivers and traitors within the SS, and his first mission is to train a set of 10 women, prostitutes, to become the best at prostituting. Then, with their training complete, they invite the supposed SS traitors to the house, where they have a wonderful banquet hosted by Hans himself, which devolves into a bunch of TNA, dancing girls, and soft S&M, of course, with all of the SS officers spilling their secrets and how much they want to kill the Fuhrer, and they plan to betray him. Which then leads us to one of the most awesome scenes of the movie. Hans comes out in a Pope outfit, fit with a swastika and this strange, almost, like black and white corpse paint makeup, with two girls holding the Iron Eagle on each side. And at first the officers think it's some kind of a joke, but he plays it straight, with his wild eyes and completely high on something look. And I just couldn't stop laughing because it's so over the top. Yet it's almost menacing because the man looks like he's truly insane, like he's not actually acting. And of course, he proceeds to execute them all. Now, another interesting thing about the movie is the editing. Some scenes don't make sense, and you often get from A to B without there being any reason why, which kind of confuses me as to why Mattei took credit for writing, but not the directing, because the writing's a little strange at best. After eliminating these, he's tasked with yet another person to root out. This is a classy SS character with one eye, who has 2 assistants. We're led to believe these assistants are very dangerous SS soldiers. Now, one of them looks slightly Hispanic or Asian or something, but they give him a white headband with a swastika drawn on it in felt marker, and he has a pair of nunchaku on him. Don't really understand why. At one point he pulls out the nunchaku when he's ready to have sex with some of these, super SS prostitutes, and he tries to use them. The guy obviously can't. He drops them. And later on, when they're finally gonna hunt him down, he pulls out a samurai sword and charges with it. Never hits anybody, of course. He just gets killed. I'm not sure what to say about those characters, except the idea was to eliminate the leader and eliminate these 2. At some point, something happens to make these 2 guys want to kill each other, and everybody dies. Makes no sense whatsoever. Rather, the whole movie's kind of a remnant of a halcyon dream, much like good old Hans. There's a subplot involving one of the guards at the house with one of the prostitute women. It's oddly kind of sweetly done and filmed in a touching way with some soft music, and they kind of fall in love. They meet each other a couple times, and later we're told she's pregnant. Of course, the SS doctor says she has to get an abortion. During one scene where Hans is having a three-way with Inga and Eva in his very interesting room, which has more swastikas than I think the entire Nazi army had, he begins chanting that he is the Fuhrer, and he's going to succeed the Fuhrer himself. Of course, Frau Inga, later being scorned by him, reports this. So when they come, they inform him that he's now the traitor, and he's marked to be terminated. This leads to a very long scene of some debauchery where the prostitutes are trying to convince them otherwise, and then everyone ends up randomly committing suicide. And I do mean random. They're talking, there's no reason for it, they pull out their pistols and shoot themselves. And no blood, of course, because it's a cheap movie and they couldn't afford squibs. So what you have here is a slightly shoddily pieced together Nazi-sploitation film with soft S&M and a love story. Also classy music. They use a lot of Bach throughout this, I guess to up the value and the fact it was public domain and they couldn't afford any music. I can recommend this for its entertainment value, especially as an exploitation film, and as being the first, or at least let's say the early career of Bruno Mattei. It's not half bad. It's a fairly well put together film, especially if you've seen other Nazi-sploitation films. Some of them are just awful and hard to get through. This movie, running almost 2 hours, is it moves decently. The pace is okay, and it's kind of fun. Now we're going to get into more fun Bruno Mattei. This is fairly tame. I think he started to realize that no one cared what he did, so he began to get much more extreme and a little more exciting. Watch this on the SS Hell Pack. DVD quality is actually pretty good. It is on a single disc in this 3-pack. Each of the movies is on their own disc. And the quality is pretty good. Of course, there's no extras, and it is dubbed in English. Not that it really matters with this type of film. Near the end, it breaks into Italian for maybe the last minute of the film. For some reason, I mean, it's easy to understand, given the context of the movie, you know what's going on. So, yeah, I would recommend this. For a Nazi-sploitation film, I would give it a nice 7 out of 10 for the film. For the DVD packaging, and the quality of the DVD, given the age and obscurity of the title, I'm hard-pressed to knock it very, very low. I would give it also a 7 out of 10. It's pretty clear, pretty solid, no artifacting. So, if you're looking for a rare exploitation film, give it a go. So that's it for SS Girls, the first film in our series on Bruno Mattei. Next up is Women's Camp 119. Yeah, it's more fun. But don't worry, we'll definitely be getting to some of the harder, more violent, and even most certainly more twisted Mattei films coming up in this series. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, suggestions, questions, anything you like, put it in the comments field. So that's it for Movie Mayhem here at Suspiria Works Cinema. Hope to see you again.